Greetings! You're watching Beyond 7 for Curious Minds. In this video, I want to share with you 3 tips for advanced emotion code users. Well, if you read the book, you may have been curious by now to apply this technique, but this video is also for practitioners who find themselves at the beginning of their journey with the emotion code. I'm sharing this from my experience. Here is tip number 1. If you work with children, you will find that children are naturally attracted to what you do. They can be curious, they can ask you innocent and funny questions. And if you have the permission of the parent, you can do magic with them. When I had the first session with a child, I was very nervous because I could feel that the little girl in front of me, she was 6.5, was very curious, and I had to use my imagination to approach her. She wanted a session, but she didn't quite have anything going on. So in that moment, I connected with her and I let my intuition guide me. And I started asking her question, how is school, how is her life? And immediately she began telling me about her school life. I asked her what was bothering her, and then she dove right in. She told me about how this little girl that was a classmate upset her, and how she didn't like the fact that she was running behind with her homework when she had to turn in projects at the arts class. And in a way that didn't make sense because all around her she was surrounded by crafts and little pieces of art that she seemed to enjoy to be doing. So it didn't make sense that she was the one to run late. And we started from there. In this session, we released 2 emotions of peeved and 1 emotion of overwhelm, among other emotions that she released. But when we asked about the crafts and the running behind with her homeworks and projects at school, the emotion was overwhelm. And in a way that makes so much sense because she was so excited to do the arts class that, well, she was running behind. So this is with kids. My point is here, go in. You will be probably nervous, but trust, if you haven't worked with kids before, but trust that everything will be fine. Let your intuition guide you and just ask a couple of questions that are very important, and you will be guided to their little problems. Tip number 2. The first one kind of led to this one, and it's about asking better questions. And we do that in life as well. If we ask the wrong question, we get the wrong answer. You know, you should never ask why me if you're dealing with a problem because you never get beyond it. With this tip, you can be successful from the very beginning by asking better questions. You can establish a set of questions that are beneficial for your clients, or you can ask the client to guide you with their problem because you may be surprised what comes up. There are clients who won't have a clue and will ask you to be their guide. Certain clients, they already know what they want to ask. They know already what's happening with them. If they've done some work prior to getting to this session with you, they'll surprise you with a very deep, meaningful question and go with it because you will be amazed by the results. I once had a client who wanted to release the emotions that have the biggest impact on her life. The very first emotion that came up was a prenatal emotion, and that indeed had the most profound impact on her that she could have ever asked for. It's funny in a way because I got into that meeting thinking that I will probably work on her knee because she had complained about some knee issues, and I was inspired in that very moment to let her tell me what it was that she wanted to ask the subconscious mind, rather than me telling her, hey, this is what we were going to work on. So this is what we came up with. She came up with this, and since then I've been using this question. For some people it's amazing. It takes us to very deep trapped emotions that need to be released. So here comes tip number 3. You are by now familiar with the heart wall. You probably worked on your own heart wall. If you have clients, in order to get your certification, you needed to release a few heart walls. So you know that they can be, in a way, tricky. There can be clients who can have maybe 3 sessions and then you're done. But then you can have clients who can carry a lot of trapped emotions in their heart wall, making up their heart wall, and you may have to release and release. For instance, I right now have clients in both America and Europe, Eastern Europe, and I can tell you that the people that I work with in Eastern Europe, like I've said it before, they have thicker walls. And it's no joke, it's no pun intended here, but this is the truth, and it in a way makes sense that life here wasn't that easy at a point. And if we look at the history and the cultural background of, let's say, people in Romania, well, there's work to do. Okay, compared to people in the United States, where there is a different lifestyle, there's different cultural backgrounds, and life in a way is easier from various points of view. You may want to find out, ask subconscious mind, if there is a heart wall related to the inner child. So let's say you work on yourself, and then after a month, you do all the maintenance of the heart wall and everything, and then you still feel like there's something that comes up or like flickering, because at first you may not really feel that because you're kind of fresh with the heart wall release and feel a bit better or much better, and you enjoy everything that the release of the heart wall brings us, and you're still processing those releases, still seeing benefits. However, if let's say after a few months you kind of feel like, okay, there's still something that bothers me, then go in and ask if your inner child has a heart wall. You may get a yes, you may get a no, you may get a yes and still not be able to handle that. I had no idea that this existed. However, after I released my heart wall, I was fine. I was enjoying life without this wall around me, my new relationships with people and with myself. And 6 months later, I learned about this inner child heart wall. And I was blown away to uncover the fact that I had my inner child have a heart wall. I'll keep you posted because I just started working on this inner child heart wall. See what that brings. So these were 3 tips for you. Let your intuition guide you when you work with children. Ask better questions. And sometime after you release your heart wall, go in again and ask your inner child if it has a heart wall, and there you go, you still have some work to do. I'll be happy to come back to your screen with new videos, so subscribe and keep close. Love you all.